Hello, today we're doing day 3 of the Unit 5 lecture. Today we're learning about variation. So what have we figured out? What carries heritable information from parents to offspring? So last class we learned that gametes do this. This process is called meiosis. Key term, this needs to get in your doodle sheet. Meiosis is the process of forming haploid gametes, which means there's 23 chromosomes, from diploid parent cells, which have 46 chromosomes. Okay, we figured out that some key details to making gametes. So that means we need to add, delete, and revise our model. Okay, so we're going to add this line. How does the heritable information get from the parents to the offspring? So this should be familiar. Baby needs 2 of each chromosome. For each chromosome, for each chromosome, one needs to come from mom, one needs to come from dad. The chromosome the baby gets is random, and haploid gametes carry the genetic material to the zygote. So now we're going to use our making baby models to make sense of a few more things. Okay, so box G. Why do we need to make these special gamete cells? Okay, so let's say, for example, this is our male gamete, the sperm, plus the female gamete, which is the ovum or the egg. If we add the genetic material, those together, now we're going to get a baby with 92 chromosomes. That is a ton. Okay, we don't need that many chromosomes. Okay, so in order to keep our chromosomes from just exponentially increasing with each generation, we came up with this method of reducing the number of chromosomes in the gametes so when they combine, the new being gets a full set. Okay, so box G. The formation of gametes ensures that each zygote will have the correct number of chromosomes, in this case, 46. Remember, if I'm going too fast, you can always press pause and get what you need down. Okay, so chromosomes the number of chromosomes are different in every animal almost. So for example, the koalas have 16, giraffes have 30, humans have 46, the duck-billed platypus 54, and so on and so forth. What do you guys notice about these numbers? Okay, box H, why does each person have 2 of each kind of chromosome? Okay, we have dad times mom results in a baby that has a tall one from mom and dad, a medium one from mom and dad, and then the last one, it looks like this is going to be our sex chromosome. Okay, all organisms that use meiosis have an even number of chromosomes because they inherit one set from each parent. So the only reason why there would be an organism with an odd set of chromosomes is if there is a chromosomal defect, essentially. When scientists work with organisms that have several pairs of chromosomes, they number the pairs. Okay, so in this instance, this would be pair 1, 2, 3, pair 1, 2, 3, and then the new pair 1, 2, 3. Okay. Are any of the pair of chromosomes exactly the same as the parents? Okay, so I know this is kind of hard to see because of this guy keeps popping up. I need it so I can stop. So you can't really see, but the answer is no. Okay, babies are never going to exactly have the same thing as their parents because we have 2 sources of genetic material that are intermixing to form new. See, no, because each came from a different parent. So this is a photo of a human karyotype. Okay, this is all of the human chromosomes. Okay, 1 through 23. 23 is going to be the gender chromosomes. So this, as we can see, because there's an X and a Y, this is a chromosome karyotype of a male. Do all organisms use meiosis to pass heritable information? No, only sexually reproducing organisms do this. Okay, there are two different types of reproduction. There is sexual, key terms, guys, the formation of genetically unique offspring formed by the union of two different gametes. So they do meiosis. And then asexual, so the formation of offspring that are genetically identical to a single parent. So asexual reproduction is going to be more rare, but I believe a common example of this is going to be frogs. Frogs are able to do asexual reproduction. So producing gametes and fertilization takes a lot of energy. Why do organisms put a lot of energy into reproduction? Okay, why meiosis? The answer is variation, differences in the genetic makeup of individuals in a population. So we've kind of already talked about variation in previous units. So when there's genetic variety in a population, it's good for the whole population. If there was a limited variation within a population, it would be likely that more diseases or health issues would pop up within that group. So what does meiosis have to do with genetic variation? So when you flipped a coin to determine which chromosomes were passed on to the baby, what were the chances that either chromosome was selected? Okay, it was literally up to chance. So by randomly selecting each chromosome, it would increase the genetic variation. Okay, since there is a 50-50 chance of inheriting a specific chromosome from each parent, this allows for some variation, but we're going to see if we can figure out how much. Okay, if we have two pairs of chromosomes, how many different gametes are possible? Okay, we have two pairs of chromosomes, long and short, two of each kind, red and blue. There are 4 possible combinations. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so what about the model with 3 pairs of chromosomes? 1A and B, 2A and B, and 3A and B. Okay, so by adding one more set of chromosomes, our variation has significantly increased with the chances of 8 possible gametes. Okay, and this number keeps going up and up. So how can we mathematically relate the number of chromosome pairs to the number of possible gametes? Okay, so if you look here, the number of chromosomes, the higher the number of chromosomes, the higher there's a higher number of possible gamete combinations. Okay, so if n equals the number of pairs of chromosomes, then 2n equals the number of possible gametes. So for humans, n equals 23. So that means for following these examples, okay, that means we're going to be 2 to the power of 23. That equals 8,388,608 different gametes per person. So that means that from the fit male, there's this many gametes per person. For the female, there's that many gametes, okay? So there's a huge amount of genetic variation because of this. So calculating possible gametes, box I. So the number of gametes equals 2n. N equals the pairs of chromosomes. So the more chromosomes an organism has, the greater number of different gametes it can form. Causes of variation. So not only is the independent assortment, so the random mixing of chromosomes, a cause of variation, but there's also another cause called crossing over. Oh, okay. So independent assortment is the homologous chromosomes separate randomly. Okay. So these are the chromosomes that split off into the gametes, like we talked about in the Let's Make a Baby assignment. Homologous chromosomes is a set of one maternal and one paternal chromosomes that encode the same genes. So just because they code the same gene does not mean they're identical. So for example, if we're talking eye color is actually pretty complicated, but it's the only thing I can think of at the second. So if we're talking eye color, if it's the same it's the chromosomes one from dad and one from mom, and both of those chromosomes code for eye color, height, hair color, all on the same thing. So it's the same coding for a feature, but those features might be slightly different that it's coding for, resulting in a unique appearance of a child. Okay. So for example, this is an homologous pair. Okay. We have the paternal copy and the maternal copy. So each of these code for the same type of information, but it might code for a variation of that information. So this might code for someone to be 6 foot. This one might code for someone to be 5'2". Okay.
If you've ever studied mitosis or meiosis, chances are the whole chromosome number thing has crossed your mind. I mean, how do you start out with a cell that has 46 chromosomes, and then it does mitosis, and then you end with two cells that each have 46 chromosomes? Or in meiosis, you end up with 4 cells that each have 23 chromosomes. It's like, here's a chromosome, there's a chromosome, everywhere, a chromosome, but how? Well, this video is going to explain the chromosome numbers in these processes, but please watch our mitosis and meiosis video first so that you can understand the actual process first. And also, our video is talking about chromosome numbers in human cells, so please assume that for the entire video. And just a reminder, human body cells have 46 chromosomes, and human sex cells, also called gametes, they have 23 chromosomes. Now, chromosomes, as you know, they're made up of DNA and protein. The DNA is highly condensed, tightly wound. That's really important because it means that when the cells divide and they have to move that DNA over, it's easy to do that when the DNA has condensed into chromosomes. It makes DNA so portable and organized, which is great in processes like mitosis and meiosis because when you make new cells, you also have to get the DNA into those cells. This is a chromosome. This is also a chromosome. The difference is the first one only has one chromatid or copy, and the second one has 2 chromatids or copies. The area in the middle of the chromosomes, this is called a centromere, and the centromere is where the spindle is going to attach. And that's kind of a big deal because that's how you're going to move the chromosomes during any division process. But generally, when you count chromosomes, you can count them by the number of centromeres present. Now, interphase is a step that happens one time before mitosis and meiosis can start. And in interphase, this is where we duplicate the chromosomes. So first we start with 46 of these chromosomes, which is how many chromosomes are found in human body cells. And as you can see in our little picture, they kind of look like little sticks. But after duplicating in interphase, we still have 46 chromosomes technically, but they have 2 chromatids. We call them sister chromatids, and they're held together at 1 centromere. See, as long as those chromatids are still attached to the centromere, we still count 46 chromosomes, but they're duplicated. And if they weren't attached like this, technically you could say there were 92 chromosomes. But right now in this picture, there are 46 chromosomes and 92 chromatids. Here's a little chart here because I love charts. So is there a time in mitosis when there are 92 chromosomes? Well, technically, you could argue that it's anaphase when the sister chromatids are separating and they're no longer attached, you can see in this picture there could be 92 chromosomes because they're not attached during that one phase. And that's why our chart has a little asterisk here. Although we still usually refer to them as chromatids during this process of cell division. So at the end of mitosis, those chromatids separate, and you end up with two cells after mitosis that each have 46 chromosomes. Those chromosomes kind of look like little sticks in this picture. The two daughter cells are identical to the starting cell in mitosis. Now let's take a look at meiosis. We have 46 chromosomes in the starting cell, and right now they each have one chromatid, just like with mitosis. And they duplicate at interphase, and we still have 46 chromosomes now, and there are 92 sister chromatids, just like we started with in mitosis. But at the end of meiosis 1, you have two daughter cells, and they each contain 23 chromosomes with 46 chromatids. At the end of meiosis 2, you have four cells that each have 23 chromosomes, 23 chromatids. Just a reminder that in mitosis, the resulting two cells are identical. So they have the same number of chromosomes as the original cell. So the two daughter cells after mitosis have 46 chromosomes and they're identical. But in meiosis, it's a reduction division. The four daughter cells, they have half the amount of chromosomes as the original cell. That's why each daughter cell after meiosis has 23 chromosomes. So we hope that clears it up a little bit for you. Now just remember that chromosome counting, it has a lot to do with the way we count chromosomes and this definition of chromatid. Well, that's it for the unit, sisters, and I remind you to stay curious.
Okay, so we just learned a little bit more about meiosis. So what are these chromosomes doing right now? So in the video, they talked about something called crossing over. So to help increase variation, essentially what's happening is these chromosomes are kind of becoming friends and they're overlapping each other and then they're swapping legs, essentially. Okay, so that's going on. So you have these, that one's going to go over that one, and that one's going to go over that one. And then they're going to swap some information. And then there you go. Okay. So this is just a visual representing crossing over.
It starts off like mitosis, as seen here under polarized light. But something different occurs when these double chromosomes line up prior to cell division. They form two rows, not one. The two strands of one double chromosome facing the two strands of its matching partner. Now begins a kind of genetic tango. The opposing strands of the two chromosomes wrap themselves around each other as their limbs crisscross and touch. This is a critical moment in sexual reproduction. It is during this early phase of meiosis when the chromosomes pair up that genetic material is traded between them. It is this process of genetic reshuffling that makes each individual unique.
Okay, so we just saw them cross over some information and it helps make unique creatures be unique. Okay, so the pieces of homologous chromosomes break off and switch places. This creates a unique mix of maternal and paternal chromosomes. So how much variation? So independent assortment and crossing over allows for an infinite number of possible gametes. Okay, so part 1, no crossing over. Oh, we're not doing this. Ignore this. Okay, so I know we're only supposed to do day 3, but day 4 is only going to take a couple of minutes. So we are going to get this done today because remember, tomorrow is the test. Whoops. So do we have a model statement that includes the idea of variation? Not yet. So this is our final model. Okay, so this is the last box on your doodle sheet, and all this information needs to get written down. Okay, so final model. How does the heritable information get from parents to the offspring? Sexually reproducing organism have pairs of chromosomes. The gametes carry chromosomes to the offspring. Haploid gametes, the sperm and egg, are formed during meiosis. During meiosis, parents give one of each pair of chromosomes to offspring. Which chromosome for each pair the baby gets is random. This is called independent assortment and causes variation. Crossing over creates more combination, which results in variation. Gametes combine during fertilization to make a diploid gamete. Okay, so that's all. Okay, so we're going to stop there. You guys can go through this if you want. It's just going over some ideas about Lucy and Maria, but we are done for the day. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Please remember to do the study guide, which will be posted in the Unit 5 folder. Have a good day, guys.